In this video, we're going to introduce you to skill number 2, which is putting together a quality meal. We're going to cover the 3-step process for assembling a quality meal, the 4 key pieces of information on nutrition fact labels, and the 2 places you can find the information, and then finally an app or a tool that you can use to be able to save a lot of time keeping track of your numbers. And you'll see that there's a place for you to be able to take notes about everything that you'll be learning in this video on page 67. It looks like this. And ultimately, skill number 2 gives you an opportunity to start implementing some of the discoveries that you've made while identifying your sweet spot numbers, and it's a necessary stepping stone towards creating that entire quality meal plan. So first up, what's the 3-step process for assembling a quality meal? How do you put together a quality meal without spending tons of time and energy trying to figure it all out? Well, full disclosure, we won't be using recipes for this. Remember, principle number 2, no recipe, no problem. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't use recipes, but recipes complicate what is actually very, very simple. Recipes also put pressure on you that you have to make meals or cook meals, when the truth is that putting together a quality meal is much easier than that. And don't get me wrong, I love a traditional recipe that has been handed down from generation to generation because those meals are always amazing. But the great thing is you can make simple, fun, quality meals every day without recipes, giving you the body that you want and making it easier to enjoy the moments when recipes are involved. In order to put together a quality meal, you really only need to make 3 choices, and everything else is just extra. This goes for both eating at home and also when you're choosing what to eat in a restaurant or even while buying something from a convenience store or on a road trip. The first thing that is in a quality meal is protein. This means that you need to pick your protein. If you need to spark some inspiration, just turn the page in your playbook and look at page 67, where you can see great options for whole foods with lots of examples of protein. But of course, you're not limited to the proteins on the list. Those are just some great examples for you. So here, where you're taking notes, please write down 3 favorite proteins.
For example, some of my favorites are chicken, eggs, and tuna, so I would write those here. Pause the video and take a moment to write your favorites.
I want you to think of protein as the foundation of every meal because it's what helps your body release fat and then build muscle and bone density at the same time. So whatever protein it is that you're enjoying, you just plan on putting that on your plate, knowing you'll have a variety of ways to be able to prepare it. And of course, you can stack proteins and use multiple sources of protein to be able to reach your goal for the meal. Now, before you eat, you just want to measure out the amount of protein that you need in order to meet your target. With practice, you can get really good at eyeballing things, but in the beginning, we recommend that you use a food scale on your kitchen counter, especially because all protein sources are not created equal. So for example, if you're trying to eat 30 grams of protein, you will need 4 ounces of chicken, 5 ounces of salmon, or 10 ounces of tofu. You see? Big difference between each. This is why it's necessary for you to be able to check the amounts that you're eating the way that we'll actually be showing you later in this video. The second thing that is on a quality plate is fat. Fat is super useful when proteins need to be cooked, and fats keep the protein from drying out and sticking to the pan. Fat is also an essential macronutrient that your brain and body require. You can see examples of quality fats on the next page. And again, write down your favorite 3.
So for myself, I prefer the taste of butter, olive oil, and nut butters like almond butter or peanut butter. So I'd write those here. Pause the video and take a moment to identify 3 of your favorites.
And the third and final type of food that is in a quality meal is a carbohydrate. Due to a lot of misinformation, many people immediately think of this when I say carbs, like you're seeing here. Breads, pastas, tortillas, corn chips, crackers, you get the idea. However, the truth is that although those are carbohydrates, they are just one part of the carbohydrate family, the refined and processed carbohydrates. There are other members of the carbohydrate family that are single ingredient, whole foods that grow naturally that way. So you might be surprised to learn that what you're looking at is also in the carbohydrate family. Generally speaking, you can expect that fruits and vegetables will contribute meaningfully to your daily carbohydrate account. And it's not that refined processed carbohydrates are bad. The problem with them is that when you eat them, they usually do not have the fiber or the micronutrients that their cousins, so to speak, have. Refined carbohydrates do not get your body to release the hormones that signal that you're full and satisfied. And that means that you can accidentally eat way more of those refined and processed carbohydrates like bread and chips because your body literally isn't getting the message. However, whole, unrefined carbohydrates like fruits and vegetables have a way of getting your body to naturally release the hormones that you are full and satisfied. So it's easier to stop reaching for more. I mean, really, how many apples are you going to eat in one sitting versus chips? Bet you can't eat just one. Does that sound familiar? It takes a lot longer to digest whole carbohydrates, and that's a benefit because it stops your blood sugar from spiking. Whereas when you eat a bunch of refined carbs, they get digested very rapidly, and that can cause problems with your insulin and blood glucose levels. So when we're talking about how you should aim to eat 33% of your daily calories and carbohydrates, we mean that you actually should get a significant amount of those carbs from whole foods and veggies. And you can still enjoy a little bit of those refined or processed carbs because your body is getting what it needs. So take a moment and look over at the list of great options for whole foods on page 68. And over here, you can see choices that actually support you.
Personally, my favorite whole carbohydrates are apples, bananas, and potatoes, so I'd write them on the line here. Pause the video and write your 3 favorites in that spot.
Regardless of what your carbohydrate is for any given meal, you will simply measure out the ideal amount for your target. And if it needs to be cooked, then cook it. Then basically, you just put that fruit and veggie on the plate next to the protein. You might also realize that you'll get greater enjoyment from the meal with some seasonings and extra flavor. And this is why we added a section called How to Keep Meals Interesting on page 68 at the bottom. And it's basically a bunch of different options for flavors and seasonings. And a great one is Himalayan sea salt, which contains 84 quality trace minerals that support your well-being. Now we have a grasp on the 3-step process to assemble a quality meal. So that's it. Those are the 3 things that you need. Protein, some fat, and whole carbs are basically the foundation of excellent meals that help you naturally build muscle and release fat. And once you have those things, you have yourself a meal that you can be proud of. Don't overthink the whole event of being in the kitchen. Remember, no recipe, no problem. Don't get wrapped up thinking that you need recipes to cook or make every meal super fancy or special. And there are plenty of ways to be able to make the same ingredients interesting and taste different every day, which we'll get more into in skill number 7 when we talk about how to cook with AI. After you get those 3 things on your plate, you have the quality that you need to fuel your body and brain for peak performance. It's that simple. Everything else is just a fancy extra. Talk about liberation, right? Doesn't that feel freeing? So now let's talk about how to find the 4 key pieces of information on nutrition facts labels without getting overwhelmed or distracted by stuff that is currently irrelevant. At the moment, there are really only 4 things on the nutrition label that we want you to develop skills with noticing and considering. And right now, we're just focused on these 4 essentials to get you started in building confidence, making smarter choices for yourself. The first key piece of information is how many grams of protein are in one serving. And generally speaking, more is better because one of our main priorities is to reach that protein target daily. The second key piece of information is how many grams of carbs are in one serving. The third key piece of information is how many grams of fat are in one serving. And the fourth key piece of information is how many calories are in one serving. If you're eating food from a box or some kind of package, the calories can add up quickly. So it's really important to look at the nutrition facts label and consider the answers to those 4 questions. And when you check the nutrition facts labels for whole foods, you might be surprised to discover just how few calories there are, even in pretty large servings. I say that because if you're only eating fruits and vegetables, for example, it can be a struggle to eat enough calories to reach your basal metabolic rate. And that can impact your hormones and basic metabolic functions. So please consider that when making sure that your body is getting enough calories to fuel you, not only for your basic needs, but your level of physical activity as well. So now that you're clear about the 4 key pieces of information to pay attention to on a nutrition label, let's talk about 2 easy places that you can find this nutrition information. The first place that you can look is on the package, if there is one. But a lot of fruits and vegetables don't have that kind of information printed out on the outside of them. So the second place that you can look is online.
I'm going to show you some options that you have for finding nutritional fact information online. You already know technology is rapidly changing, And even during the time that we produced this video, Google updated the way that they display their search results. So it's important for you to be ready for the possibility that what I'm about to show you might look a little bit different by the time that you try it for yourself. Just remember that there are a huge number of apps, websites, and databases out there that have this information. So if you start looking for it, you will be able to find it from a variety of sources, even if the process is a little bit different from what I'm about to show you. It doesn't matter that much how you get the information. The important thing is just to get the information. So if you have an AI service, you can ask questions like, can you show me a nutrition facts label for 151 grams of broccoli? And very quickly, you'll get details that look like this. And it'll even organize it for you in the same kind of sequence like what you would see on a nutrition fact label. Now, if you don't have an AI service yet, you can also use websites. I like nutritionvalue.org, and later in the course, I'll actually show you how to enter your own recipes in here. But basically, on the homepage, you just type in the food, like in this case, broccoli, and you click on the one that you want. We'll do raw. And then up pops this information. Now here you can see that the portion size is just 91 grams, and I wanted to see the details for 151 grams. So I'm gonna click on this drop-down menu and choose this option at the bottom, custom grams. And in the box, I'm gonna type in 151 grams as the weight. And then the website recalculates the nutrition facts label. When I put the details from the AI chat side by side with nutritionvalue.org, you can see that the numbers inside the nutrition facts label are almost exactly the same. Calories are super close, 51 versus 52. Fat is the same, 0.6 grams. Carbohydrates is 10.7 versus 10. Dietary fiber is within 1 gram, and sugar is also super close, and so is the protein. In your playbook, when you look at page 67, you'll see there's a nutrition facts label for broccoli. And if you look closely at it, you'll see there are some missing numbers. Pause the video and practice asking yourself the 4 questions. Then write the missing numbers on the nutrition facts label.
Great. Now that you've added those 4 numbers to the nutrition facts label for broccoli, let's talk about 2 other important things to discuss that are related to your sweet spot numbers: how much fiber and how much added sugar is in something. So in the case of broccoli, you can see that there are 4 grams of fiber right here, and there are 2 grams of sugar. But notice, and this is important, it doesn't say added sugar. It only says sugar. So this isn't something that you need to be worried about. However, on this nutrition facts label for a square of chocolate,
sorry to interrupt, but between the time that we planned this video and filmed it, Craig ate the last of the limited edition caramel chocolates with the particular nutrition facts that he's mentioning. Fortunately, there are still some milk chocolate ones that can be photographed for you, so please just focus on the concepts that he's talking about, not the exact numbers, because the flavor can change those things.
However, on this nutrition facts label for a square of chocolate, notice that it says fiber is less than 1 gram, and it specifically says total sugars, 7 grams. And then in parentheses, it says including 7 grams added sugars, which means all of this sugar in this chocolate was added by humans, and 0 of those grams were put there by Mother Nature. For the most part, nutrition facts labels will show you added sugars after they give you the total for all sugars. At this point, the best thing that you can do for your health is to start noticing the nutrition facts, get curious, and do internet searches to identify those numbers and what the food around you actually provides. And even if you don't feel ready to start making changes immediately, it's valuable for you to simply recognize these 4 key pieces of information and start to think about them. Because remember, you're building skills, and that takes repetition. Now, the final topic that we want to cover is an app and a tool that you can use to make it very fast and easy to keep track of these numbers in real time. And because technology changes very quickly, we're putting our recommendation for this app into a separate video below this one. So scroll down and keep on watching.